Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Oh, happy Halloween, October 31st. Also, happy birthday to Mr. Pinley.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. School Board of Manatee County workshop. I want to officially call this to order. Two items on the workshop today. No agenda amendments. So we'll go to public comment, which I do not believe we have any public comment this morning. But important topics nonetheless for discussion today. Obviously, the very first one is review of the redistricting maps and the timeline moving forward. I know we talked a little bit about this in our board meeting on Tuesday. But this is kind of the final piece here. I'm going to give it over to Dr. Breslin, and introduce kind of what we're going to be doing. Then you can introduce the staff, and we'll get rolling. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Board members, as you're well aware, we have been planning our rezoning for the school district since early spring. And so you can see many of the rezoning committee members in this room. There are many more who have helped in this process, including feedback from our school principals as well. So we're going to present to you today our current maps for your consideration and feedback. And then we will be posting these by Monday for the public to review and provide feedback through the month of November. And the team here will share the maps, the work, and then also the dates and other methods for public feedback. And then in December, our plan, of course, is to bring final maps for approval to the board in time for our school choice season that rolls around in January. And so we have Mr. Derek Jensen, Mr. Willie Clark, and Mr. Kevin Chapman, who will all take a part in the presentation. Perfect. Mr. Jensen?
Thank you, Dr. Breslin. Chair Choate, board members, thank you for having us today. I'll get started here on a quick overview of Policy 5120, and you've seen this policy a number of times throughout this process, so we'll blow through the first few slides fairly quickly. So slide 3 just has a link for any member of the public who would like to read those board policies, specifically 5120.02 rezoning of designated residential attendance zones. And that's where all of this content can be found. So on slide 4, we have the initiation of those residential attendance zone boundaries. That was started actually on Valentine's Day. So we started the process on Valentine's Day, and now we're here on Halloween, kind of bookending the process. So I don't know what that says about how we like to schedule our meetings or what this process has been like. But basically it states that the board may consider revisions for construction of a new school, check. Number 3, overcapacity of schools, check. Particularly out east and north, and anticipated student population growth, check. And so that was initiated earlier this year. Slide 5 is more information about the process, which you've been through. In that February meeting, you had a presentation where you looked at all of those capacity challenges, future growth projections, and then it ultimately led to a superintendent recommendation to initiate a rezoning process. And then on slide 6 is just kind of more of the nuts and bolts of how the process is unfolded. We had an initial public meeting, again, starting in February to explain that process. We had another meeting where 3 maps were presented and then taken out to the public for public feedback and posted online for public feedback. Those were brought back. And then a dedicated web presence was posted for all of this information, and then ultimately that all kind of led to where we are today. So on slide 7 is where we'll spend a little bit more of our time. We're now at the point where we recommend here we're at a kind of a final map for consideration and feedback, and then that will culminate in the recommendation of a final adoption plan for the board. And the thing I want to really focus on down here is G. These are the current exemptions for students codified into board policy around the rezoning process. And this is important to review now because on the next 2 slides, we have a staff recommendation for another couple of exemptions for the current rezoning process as well. So I'm currently in policy. You can see G1. No rising student in their final year of attendance will be required to change their school of attendance as a result of rezoning. So if I'm a fourth grader going into fifth grade at my elementary school, which I've attended the whole time, and my zone school changes, I'm allowed to stay at the current school I'm enrolled at to finish out, to the highest grade. Number 2 under G is if I have a sibling there, they're allowed to stay that additional year as well. That's codified in the policy. And then number 3 is that if you were previously rezoned for any reason, or your homeschool was changed, you won't be required to change schools again while you're at that current school. So those are the 3 exemptions that are currently in 5120. Yes, ma'am.
So in all 3 of those, no transportation is provided for any of them?
Correct.
Okay. Just want to make sure the public hears that part.
Yes.
Number 2, you said a sibling can stay in that school for a period of 1 year.
Correct, until the,
So if you have a 5th grader with a 2nd grade sibling, then they can only stay through 3rd.
correct. But
Okay.
that's a wonderful segue into our next slide.
Okay? I'm always just that one step ahead.
So the next 2 slides are really recommendations that would be part of the rezoning plan that the board approves for this year that would augment the ones that are currently in board policy and address kind of one of the issues you brought up, Ms. Frey. And that's number 1 is this first legacy provision, what we're calling it here on the first slide. And really all of this is designed to support stability, minimize disruption to families. We know this can be a very emotional, disruptive process. Our students love their schools, and our families have all kinds of reasons for choosing the schools they choose for their families. So in an effort to help kind of mitigate some of those factors as part of this process, we have this first provision, which we're recommending, the legacy provision. This is for families who wish to stay at their current school through the highest grade level offered. And so that is, like you said, Ms. Spray, that sibling who's maybe a 2nd grader, but they love their elementary school and really want to stay at their current elementary school. This provision would apply to any student who's currently enrolled and their siblings who are also currently enrolled.
Okay.
And those students may remain at their current school even if their zone changes, and they would be able to stay until the highest grade. You can see it, that 3rd bullet point says, now, if you are not yet enrolled, you would be defaulted to your new zoned school. So
Right.
this would apply to students who are currently enrolled at the school. If they had maybe a younger sibling who was 3, and it would be a couple years until they got to elementary school, then they would have to go through our normal choice process if they wanted to choose that school.
Okay.
And then obviously, like you said, Ms. Felton, this option would have no district-provided transportation as part of it.
Okay.
But it would allow families to stay at their current school. Any questions about the legacy provision?
Are we going to, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I apologize to everybody for being late. And I've got a question already, but this may have been covered, so I apologize if so.
Probably.
But I'm just curious because on the previous slide, to Mrs. Spray's question, that 2nd grader can stay at the school as long as until their 5th grade sibling matriculates out. But then what kicks in the legacy provision that they could stay the whole time?
So G, on the previous slide, G is currently what's in board policy. And it basically says that G2, what you referenced, Mr. Kennedy, that normal 2nd or 3rd grader could only stay 1 additional year while their sibling finished their higher year of attendance. That's what's currently codified in board policy. What is proposed on slide 8, this legacy provision, we're calling it, would be part of the adoption plan specific to this rezoning process, kind of outside of the
Okay, so we're not
existing board policy.
going to go in and change the policy. We're just going to kind of offer this for this
For
round
this
of
rezoning
redistricting,
process.
basically?
Yes, sir.
Got it. Okay.
And adopt it as part of the rezoning process.
So extending the offer, but not changing policy.
Not changing the policy. So for
We're
this
not
round of
limiting.
rezoning, we're going to offer this provision. Got it. Understood.
Correct.
Thank you. If I was here, I
Are
probably
we
would've
going
understood.
to, obviously, we're discussing it today. I'm sure when we go into our meetings with the community, we're going to discuss it then. Not everybody watches this thrilling workshops and meetings that we have, or can go to the meetings, right? So I do want to make sure, like, and it could be just this page and the next slide here in a second, but I think this is extremely important to make sure it's like on the website. There's links, so it's they don't have to like go
Agreed.
hunt our policy documents. That these are
Yeah.
in your face right there, so that they see.
This will be, this language will be on the website with the maps. It'll be also sent out from schools to their parents, and then
Good.
we will also have this when we do our presentations.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Great questions. All right, so finally for me on the next slide, a second provision that's really specific to the fact that there's a rezoning happening, and as Mr. Clark will walk you through in a moment, kind of this addition of a new high school coming on in 27, 28. This potential situation for families that we're kind of categorizing under the founders provision. When the new high school opens in 27, 28, and those early grade levels, the 9th and 10th grade levels start there, you could end up with a potential situation where a student maybe starts their 9th grade year at one high school and then is rezoned for their 10th grade year into another high school. This provision would allow the student who knows they're going to be rezoned to the new high school or any other high school, and you see the example here, a neighborhood currently zoned for Parish but rezoned to Braden River. The families there could choose to start a year earlier at Braden River, even though they're not zoned there, knowing that they will be zoned there so that their student could do all 4 years at their newly zoned school. So we're not
Great.
making them do that change. And it
That's
provides
great.
that great opportunity, again, for educational continuity for a student in that particular situation.
Nice. Like that.
Okay, and again, that would not.
Is that
come with district
applicable to
transportation.
all grade levels or just high?
This would be for the new high schools.
Just so the high school then, okay, all right,
And the reason for that, Mrs. Spray, is that the high school starts in 27.
right.
All other grade levels start in 26. So we needed a special provision just for the high school students.
And then, if I may, I'm just curious, and maybe we don't have this kind of solidified yet, but how will we communicate that to the students that fall under this founder's provision? Like, are they going to have, is that parent or student going to have to find that themselves, or?
Or the middle school level, like when
Or,
you do
yeah, it's
registration.
middle school, thank you.
Like when you're in 8th grade, you do registration. Like,
Our goal, thank you, Mr. Kenny, great question. As if you were in our staff meetings talking about this, but
fly on the wall.
but the plan on October 31st, right now, right, is to get that communication out to 8th graders and 8th grade families, current 8th grade families, to say, okay, you know, your high school, when you enter 9th grade next year, but you're going to be potentially rezoned in 27, 28, there's a founder's provision where you can opt to go to your newly zoned school in 26 instead of 27, so that you can have 4 years of continuity. So we'll communicate that to current 8th grade families soon, so that they can understand this provision.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to think. It's probably not an enormous number of 8th graders either.
Yeah, right.
That was my question.
One example is this particular neighborhood that, you know, it's those neighborhoods that it's students that we know are going to be rezoned, right? Many won't be for a high school. You know, if you live in the Parish High School zone now, you might be still going to Parish, right? But we know that now through our data. So we'll communicate to those families who we know are going to be rezoned.
And you'll see that when we share the maps,
Yeah.
you'll be able to, it'll come to you. Okay.
Yeah, and part of the process, which we'll get later we'll be doing constant, social media and messages and, be out there in the community as much as we can to, keep everybody informed of this process over the next 2 months as we head into choice. So really, you have 3 months here of constant communication to make this effort strong.
Okay.
We also know the neighborhoods, like we know the students who live in the areas that would be affected by this change, so we can be very tactical in our messaging to them.
Yeah, okay.
And that kind of concludes my part, so I'll kick it over to my colleague, Mr. Clark, to share some timelines and go over the maps with you.
I was just gonna say too, some of these, the legacy provisions, I know we're gonna put out to the families, but also in maybe media outlets that are gonna follow as well?
Yep.
Okay, okay.
Very good. So next slide, 10. We're just going to go through some of the key dates that we've already touched on. Mr. Jensen kind of referenced some of these as well, but just reiterate. So we started off in February. I think it was Valentine's Day. Thank you, sir. With a workshop to the public. March through May, staff worked. We had a number of groups, teams that worked on these maps to come up with. It seemed like there were probably 20 or 30 maps we came up with. There were like 3 for each grade level, each part of the region of the county. You remember, it was pretty hectic, pretty kind of was a lot on the website even kind of. I don't know how parents were able to navigate that, but they did. So then in June, we had the 3. We, like you said, put it out for public review. We collected input, right, through Let's Talk. We had a lot of comments that came in. Going into August, we took that information and started to formulate a plan, right, with the maps, which you'll see here shortly. October 28th, the superintendent recommended we publicize these maps. You saw that just this past on the 28th board meeting. And then here we are today on the 31st with a workshop to talk about the maps, for which after this, on Monday, plan is to release these maps to the public, and it'll be on our website, and we'll start the blitz with information for parents to share and be able to make decisions with their kids. October 31st through November 30th, that's slide 11, we will take the input from our community, parents, staff. We also shared with principals a couple weeks ago. We'll take all that information, formulate that to one map, for which we will bring to the first board meeting in December our recommendation to you of what maps for the 26-27 school year in 27.
I had a question real quick on feedback from the first round
Yes,
of
ma'am.
getting public
Comment?
and, what would you say was the most concerning? Was it in elementary, middle, or high? And then narrow that down to what was the biggest concern, just what school they're going to, or?
I think we addressed some of that with our legacy
Yeah.
topic.
You just
that
think
we-
it was just that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was probably the biggest thing. There were a couple neighborhoods that were concerned, right, about what school and which school they would go to, for sure. But I think people wanted choices, options to be able to stay at their current school.
How many people gave feedback? 300, 200?
I think we had like 400 comments. I don't know. Some of them could have been repeat comments.
Okay.
450 or so. So, but yeah, we got a good representation too. So, and then once
Okay.
again, we got feedback from principals as well.
Right, right.
So we feel pretty good about it, and you'll see some of that manifested in the maps that we
Okay.
bring forward.
Very
Also,
good.
we have public meetings scheduled for November 17th, Braden River High School, Lakewood Ranch, November 19th, and then Parish Community, November 20th. We will monitor. If we're seeing a lot of comments come in from a particular school or area, we'll, huddle up and set up a meeting in that area as needed. So we'll kind of watch our feedback and make adjustments as needed.
Okay.
All right? And then, of course, in January, we start the choice process. So we need to have all this mapped out and determined so that parents can make informed decisions about their students. Next page on 12. August 26th, you see the schools that we have coming online. We have the elementary at Artisan Lakes, K-5. You have Rye Ranch Elementary, K-5. And then we're doing some changes at some current schools. Lake Manatee, K-8 will go to K-6, possibly pre-K-6. Harvey Lower Campus, pre-K 3, Harvey Upper Campus, 4th through 7th grade. Right, and then the next year we'll roll a grade level in each of those
Each
schools.
year.
Okay. August of 27 is when high school AAA will open, and that will be 9th and 10th grade. So you'll see that, and then the next year will be 11th grade. Questions? Okay. Next slide is 13. I'm going to have you, I think we provided a little packet of information because on this paper you couldn't make out some of the details, so we got a little bigger map. So I'll ask you to turn your attention to the proposed elementary school attendance boundary. And I'll talk you through this. You know, this will be loaded on our website. Parents will be able to zoom in and see, right, where their homes are. There'll also be a school locator. They'll be able to type their address in, and then it'll tell them what their proposed schools for those upcoming years will be. So that'll give them the great detail as being able to use that locator. Really neat tool, and that'll be ready on Monday. So I think we'll start, just to kind of orient us all, we'll start with the top of the map. I'll say north portion of the map for elementary. We have, as we know, Harvey is exploding. I mean, we have a lot of students in that area and counting. So we have 2 schools that will be entering that area, the north and northeast part of our county. That's the elementary school at Artisan Lakes and then Rye Ranch. So Artisan Lakes, the school at Artisan Lakes is going to, the zone is, you can see 41 on the west border. So that was Tillman's zone, North Tillman's zone, all the way up to County Line North. So it took some of Tillman's zone, and then it stretches all the way west from the north portion, Buckeye Road north, all the way to that Lake Parish area, where Lake Parish is. You can see that on your map. So that's the northern portion, and that was Harvey's zone. All right. Then,
And you're saying that was formerly,
I'm sorry?
that was formerly Harvey
Yes, that
Street.
was, yes. ma'am.
Right,
Or
okay.
currently, I guess, right?
So we don't have a map like this with streets on it?
It's a lot of detail, you know, to do that. You'll be able to, once we get on a map online, you'll be able to see a little better, but the detail is tough to
print,
show,
yeah.
right, to print out.
All right.
If you look in your packet, you can see it starts to, even on that, starts to get a little, you can't even make out the names, so.
Right.
But I can talk to you about the major roads. That's Buckeye Road there, the
Okay.
bottom part of that goes east to west, that separates Harvey, Artisan Lakes North, and Williams. So that's Buckeye Road. So the southern border of Artisan Lakes is, you can see 275 going over to 69th Street, right up by Mills, goes up a little north there, and then comes across, and that's Sawgrass there between that Harvey, around Sawgrass, that comes down to Moccasin Wallow area. That makes sense? You kind of following, tracking there?
Yep.
You
Yeah.
can see, so, and all that's to kind of alleviate some of that growth that we had at Harvey.
Harvey.
Okay. All right. We'll go over Williams, and it's, what is that, like a 10, I guess?
Yeah.
Chad, if I may.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Clark,
Uh-huh.
I just have a quick question as long as,
Sure.
before we leave Artisan Lakes.
Uh-huh.
And I know you all had a reason for this, and the questions I may come up with today,
Okay.
this is not second guessing, I'm just curious how we got here. So I just want to be clear about that up front. But on the southeast corner of the Artisan Lakes new zone, there's, you know, kind of, I don't say this derisively.
Yeah.
There's like a jigsaw puzzle piece there on that southeast corner. And I'm just curious if we know, or if anybody in the room knows, like those little pieces that were cut out, is that, I'll just let you answer. Why, how did we come up with that? those
Okay.
little
Yeah.
That's good question, and I don't have a good answer. No, I do. Let me tell you. Well, the boundaries, right? There's a number of things, right? It could be a development that is following that track, and we're just making sure we capture it. A lot of times it could be a a river, a spring, a major road. We used all of those when we created these maps. So I could find out what exact, you know,
I think that one, Mr. Kennedy speaking to that specific carve out, that's running along Moccasin Wallow where a lot of that new development is with like your sea air and those areas. And so those lines are really capturing those new developments in their entirety. Like Mr.
Right,
Clark
around the
said,
neighborhood.
you don't want to split a neighborhood in half.
yeah, yeah.
And so those like jigsaw lines are kind of capturing the boundaries of some of those new development neighborhoods to make sure the whole neighborhood gets pulled into the zone and we're not dealing with a split situation.
Okay, yeah.
And a
that-
lot of those aren't fully built out.
Yeah,
They're
agreed.
so when new people will move in, they won't have been established at a different school.
Gotcha, yeah.
Right. So-
No, that's true, and I gotta keep in mind too that these like plotted developments are not always like perfect little rectangles either.
They're not.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah,
Agreed.
I mean, by that map, it definitely looks like when you're looking at it from here, like it looks like it is undeveloped land
Right.
that's in that, because it's around like 301, like behind Harrison
Right.
Ranch, but Erie like area. That's
Yeah.
not
There's
there
almost
is
nothing there yet.
almost right.
Right.
Give it time, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it almost looks like there is like empty. There's just nothing there yet. Anyways.
okay. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, we can keep
All
going.
right.
Yep.
And I think that was sawgrass that ties down through to Moccasin Wallow there. Oakfield Trails runs up in that area, so we tried to make sure we wove around those different developments. All right, so moving forward to Williams Zone. So Williams Zone originally went up to, the north portion was 62, State Road 62, right? We actually have gone north of 62 into, that was Harvey's area there, that northern portion above 62, that's tan. And that's Crosswind Ranch in that area. So we captured that. We're going to take that down to Williams to help them with some of their numbers. The dividing line between Williams Elementary and Rye Ranch is that Spencer Parish. So kind of we used that kind of line to split it. There was kind of, we watched to see where students fell on either side. We gave half of the students Williams population at the time. The westmost portion of Spencer Ranch Road goes to Williams. The east portion goes to Rye Ranch Elementary. And Spencer Parish Road was kind of that defining line and took that down straight through the center of that boundary.
Are you talking
Zone.
about Williams right now?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, I'm on Williams Elementary.
Okay, and we're up to Lake Parish, because there's nothing, that little blue
Okay,
spot
right.
is, there's no home.
There's nothing there, so really
Right,
that's,
because I'm looking actually, board members, at Google Maps,
Same.
because you can't see what streets are.
right.
So if you look at the map, at least you can see that. Okay, so this one goes down to, let's see, right at the end of the river then, is where that's going
Correct.
to. Okay.
All right, so,
Question
Uh-huh.
and
Right along Fort Hammer and right.
I'm assuming I know the answer to this, but we don't have, and we never really had. I guess maybe we did in like the very beginning, but Williams, or just about to have the ground break or the ceremony, correct? The ribbon ceremony on the new 6-pack, 8-pack, whatever
Yes.
it was, right? Whatever it is.
8.
Numbers wise, I just don't want to. We built this classroom. Are they still gonna need it? Numbers wise, do you know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
Like
Yeah,
there's a lot of
from a
development,
population standpoint.
a lot of development in
I
that.
just
Right.
don't want to see it. Hey, we've got
Agreed.
800 kids.
Right.
We built this for you, and I know the development's happening. I get
Yes.
that. I was just out there a couple days ago, but I just don't want to see us. We build this, just finishing it. Now we're gonna
Depleted.
we
all of a sudden
totally
empty it
agree.
because we're moving boundaries. And
Yeah.
I know it may fill back up because of more development, but I just want to make sure we're not
Yes,
And
sir.
Mr. Cho, we had originally had a smaller area for Williams, and then when we looked at numbers, we expanded it again, because we're looking at that. We want to make sure
Okay.
that we're planning well.
That's how we captured that north of 62.
Yeah, right next door to Williams, to the north, there's a massive apartment complex going in there with some like
Yeah.
900 apartments. And then directly behind, if you stand in the back field at Williams and look behind it, it's just like the giant development going on
Right.
right now with houses all coming up. So they're
Yeah.
going to have
Right.
a
And
lot
board
of
members, if we're waiting for a development to finish out that we know will be filled with children in another year or two, we just use those empty spaces to build out our pre-K programs, which are in high
Sure,
demand in this
sure.
area. So we will utilize the space.
Yeah. Thank you for that answer. The second part is we don't have, at least, and I haven't seen, I would like to see the numbers of this mapping, like what we're suggesting doing when we're talking about elementary, middle, and high.
Yep.
To see numbers like we did in the beginning.
Right.
Hey, this is why we need to do this because we're over this. I'd like to see that chart again.
Okay.
We'll
You know, once
problem.
with the new one,
Yeah.
with the new,
Get that.
how even did we get it out? Thank you.
Residents.
We will,
Yes, sir.
we will get those to you, as well as choice numbers that come in and out, because it's not
Sure.
an exact. You
Right.
know, some schools have a lot of choice.
Correct.
Right.
And to have that, what the capacity, I mean, like we had the
Yeah, like we
charts
did before.
before,
Yeah,
right?
the fish,
That should be-
capacity, all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Board, just remember two things while we're going through this, really for the public listening or future listening. These are the final three maps, but you know, you're going to approve these in early December when you all set that meeting. So we still have time to make, you know,
Sure, of
adjustments
course.
along the way, right? And then remember the legacy provision, right? If any family is at a school now and would like to stay at that school, they can stay at that school, right? So if a family's looking at this and going, oh my gosh, you know, my line just moved.
Yeah.
I can't go to Williams anymore. Remember the legacy provision, you still have that option. If you're already at Williams, you can stay at Williams. So,
Yep.
you know, this is, just to keep that in mind as we go through this.
Real quickly.
But I want to add on to that, that in a lot of those cases, transportation will not be provided.
Correct.
Because that was a question for me
Right. 'Cause it's-
yesterday.
Because it's not their zone school.
Right, yesterday, that was the biggest concern. That's my, you know, I see that I'm probably gonna be in the same zone, but I'm hoping that I get to stay there because of the bus. I can't take my child to school, I need the bus, because I have to work. So that is the number one response I've gotten about this whole process is, will they still get a bus? Well, I have to see,
Right.
you know, so,
Very good.
okay.
Since you brought legacy, I know we talked about this, and I'm bringing something back up. And maybe we haven't decided exactly what the process is going to look like. But is that if a family's going to do legacy, is that going to be online, like through the school? And did we mention that? I know we mentioned we're going to tell the families, but is that something that they're going to have to? They can easily go at their school registrar and get it at the front office. They have to go online. And if we haven't figured that out yet, that's fine.
Yeah, we're going to communicate that when it comes,
Okay.
probably in December. We'll communicate
Yeah.
that to all families
Okay.
of the process of if you're choiced at that school and want to remain at that school, or you want to remain at your zone school, or you've
Okay.
been rezoned, all those questions and processes will be
Okay.
laid out to families, so it's as easy as possible.
Right.
For them as we head into the next school year.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll kind of move on. Rye Ranch, talk about that border between Williams, and then it pretty much runs along 62 all the way out to the county line north and south. I mean east, right? And that was formerly, a lot of that was Harvey zone.
Right.
Other major change, now we'll start to go the east portion of the county down into Lake Manatee. As you know, Lake Manatee came about, and it was to relieve Gullet primarily. That is Lorraine Road. That's splitting those two. Lake Manatee is going to take the eastern portion of Gullett's Old Zone, which runs from that Lorraine all the way out. So that was a change. We actually,
And-
on State Road 64, just north, across the street from Lake Manatee, we made an adjustment and grabbed that area and brought it down to Lake Manatee, because on our previous maps, that was going to Witt.
And a community that's being
It's a
built
community, yes.
right across the
That's
street
what
there
that
as
is.
well,
Yes,
so,
ma'am. To capture those students.
right.
Chad, if I-
So that was a big change there. Yes, sir.
Mr. Clark, I'm just curious, if we could just talk for a second about the ramifications of crossing 64 for transportation. I know there's some rules around.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
roads,
We will
different- it's-
evaluate it. There's a chance we'll be able to provide transportation just because 64 is so busy. So we're going to do an assessment on that and make
Okay.
sure we're able to accommodate
Have
those
a,
kids.
have it, I'm sorry. don't
Yeah,
mean-
no, obviously, I mean, there's going to be some kids that are within 2 miles there.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So we'll have to do an evaluation to see, obviously there's a traffic count that we do study and all those things to determine. So we'll make a decision at that time. There's a chance we may provide a bus just because of, the safety reasons.
That's what I was
Yeah,
gonna
that's,
say.
that scares me to death.
So we'll see.
Kids
Yeah, that's
crossing 64.
That's kind of why we were thinking about not bringing them over, but, the community and taking input from the community and principal and things of that nature, we decided to bring it down. So, but there's a good chance we'll be able to provide it. We'll just do a study and see how that goes.
Okay, well,
Communicate that to parents.
We'll come back to it then. if we
Is
can.
there gonna be a pedestrian crosswalk across there, do you think?
It could be, right? I mean, there's certain break points to where they have to put a pedestrian traffic light. So, we'll see how that goes too, where that goes. All that'll be be factors. A little
there
nervous about 64.
I'm sorry, Willie.
Uh-huh.
I
Okay.
just want to say, there are, at all the new traffic circles, there are crosswalks, but.
A little further down.
Still,
Little-
so
They're
much
And a little
traffic.
further down too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll see.
And
I haven't tried to walk through a roundabout yet.
it could be
I
that,
don't know if I want to.
I mean, with this,
Let alone a third grader.
right, with this community, and then if you go a little farther east of the end of Lake Manatee there, that
Right.
little pink area
Right.
there, it might be one of those single bus stop
Right.
at this community. This is where you all gather,
Agreed.
and that's where you're picked up. If you miss the bus, mom, dad gets to take you.
Yes, ma'am.
And the same thing, just down that little part. It could be just simple of picking up kids at one area
Right.
and then going down, picking up the kids at the next area and taking them right to the school. It might be one of those little circle things for safety until I think
Build
that
out.
community develops and there are crosswalks like, well, look at Cortez, how many
Right.
hit the button crosswalks within a 5-block radius there are, but that might be a temporary solution for safety.
And Ms. Bray and Mr. Kennedy, I actually happened to talk to the developer yesterday by happen chance, and he's calling the FDOT local secretary to work on that
Good.
as we speak,
Good.
because that is a state road, and he may have a little more sway than we do to try to put in all the necessary blinking lights and crosswalks and things to make it over. So we're working on it.
And to the public, this area is developed so much, and having, something like that out there is gonna happen. I would rather have it now, but, we can't, but, okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Kennedy, I didn't mean to jump in on your.
So, no, I was done. I'm good.
For the Lake Manatee, what is the eastern boundary road there? Because it looks different.
It's,
Than the original, the current one.
That runs from Mayaca.
Yeah.
what is that road?
It might be Verna.
Duet Road?
So I thought it was
Is
Vernon
it
Bethany.
Duet Road?
So
No,
And there's
that's
some
not
weird
Duet Road.
Are
things
you talking-
around the development
Yeah.
there that not all the roads are yet able to run a bus. And so Pam Miller helped
it's
us go
Vernon
through and
Bethany.
identify
Vernon
that.
Bethany.
okay,
Yeah.
so then my question is,
It is Verna?
that chunk that was to the west of Verna Bethany that is currently zoned for Mayaca, because I'm looking at our current school zones on the
Oh.
computer, and then the map.
Are you talking about on 64 right there, that pink block?
No, no. Basically Verna Bethany. There's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
chunk that is
Yeah.
Yes.
that is
on the
Verna
west
Bethany.
that is part of Mayaca.
Yeah, yeah.
How many? I mean, I don't want to take kids away from Mayaca. They're small as it is.
I think on one side of the street, the west side of the street goes to Lake Manatee, the east side goes to Mayaca.
Well, currently it doesn't though. Currently, on the current maps, it looks like both sides of Verna Bethany are on Mayaca.
I'm almost certain, I'll double check that, because we talked about that, but I'll double.
Ms. Johnson, I feel like you have something to add.
No, I know that was a discussion, but we moved that line back over.
I thought, I think it's, but she's saying currently it's set up one side goes, I need to double check.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the map on the district website right now for 25, 26.
I'll double check that.
Okay, I don't want to take students away from Mayaca.
Agreed.
And we looked at the numbers that would be retained at Mayaca, and they were,
Okay,
Yeah.
because I love that little school and I want to keep them there.
Are you talking about this little pink?
No.
Right here?
She's
Okay.
talking about the
It-
north,
can't-
south
can't really
divide.
show you, but-
Yeah, the north and south side. Yep, yep,
This thing right here. Yeah,
okay.
Okay, I made a note of that to follow up, Mrs. Felton.
thank you.
Okay. The only other change in that area was for McNeil from their current zone. The eastern portion, you can see there, I don't know if that's gold there, down from State Road 70, and that's Polo Run, to help with some of the numbers. And it's directly, very easy drive over to McNeil. We determined we'd like to proposing moving that development, that group over to McNeil. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Okay. And connect just straight across to 70, go up and get to McNeil very easy. All right, and we'll move west. Got a little cheater map.
So Willis, did anything change at Willis then?
Okay.
Did you talk about Willis already?
We didn't
Big
really
change.
do no changes to Willis's zone.
Okay,
No other changes in that area.
all right.
So going west. So I'll start as far west as I can. And there's a little pocket, what would that call it? Peninsula. It's on your map, you'll see, it's Seabreeze is gold. The blue goes to Palmasola. And you can see that little island on it says Cortez,
Yep.
right? That area right there before the bridge. That area was going to Seabreeze. We're moving that, proposing moving that to Palmasola to help with their numbers.
So we had, Palmasola was looking like their enrollment needed to be a little bit increased. There's not a lot of students in that peninsula, but that is an easy road up through 75 to get to 75th Street to get to Palmasola. And then Seabreeze has that new development, Seaflower. There's 6,000 homes going in there. So we needed to make sure Seabreeze wasn't going to be totally overwhelmed in 2 years. And then our other big priorities were Prine and Moody were over capacity. And so moving some of those students up to Miller and Palmasola so that they weren't over capacity. Sorry, Mr. Clark, I totally
No, that's
jumped
fine.
in.
We did some balancing on the
And
west. is
Stewart
what we
as
tried to
well,
do.
adding some enrollment to Stewart, which
some
was
balancing.
under capacity.
Other area was up Miller, north of 64. There was a pocket there that was going to Miller. Want to move that to Palmasola. But then there's a pocket east of, where I just spoke to you about, that was going to Ballard, we want to move that to Miller.
So that little bitty green,
Yeah.
Yes,
little
ma'am.
mint green
By the
section?
river there, yeah.
Okay. And that's north of
Mrs.
64, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's like at 26th Street, like Fogartyville area.
Right.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But just balancing a little bit.
I don't know how many kids are in that area.
Right.
Probably not too many.
Right. Right. Yes, sir. And then right south of where we were just talking about Prine, there's a little pocket there we moved to Miller just to clean it up a little bit. It was a lot of different lines cut different ways. We just did some balancing and made it a little cleaner in the central portion there, right up near Prime.
I don't know if you guys have this total number, but obviously we've talked a lot about, of course we're doing this because of capacity, new schools, things like that. But we also talked about like trying to impact, I mean, you want to be able to do this, but impact as least as many families as possible. Do you guys know how many total students are impacted?
For the entire district?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you give me elementary, middle. I mean, that may be
Yeah.
a number that you guys just haven't computed,
I think we would have to
which is fine.
pull it all.
Which is fine.
When you look at the pockets, when you zoom in on current Palmasola students, for example, you see a lot of these other areas that you see students have choiced into Palmasola. So then you have to figure out, we're not impacting the students who are already
Correct.
choiced there. So it's you could really go deep on the analysis,
Right.
or you could just go straight from zone to zone. But that doesn't really reflect because we have
Right.
such a large amount of students who
Choice already.
participate in choice.
Right.
Okay. I was just wondering.
Which is a great thing that they
Absolutely.
participate in choice.
It also is what drove that founder's option, or that legacy option. Which we
Yes.
keep reiterating to parents, which is that opportunity to stay at the
Stay.
school that you are currently enrolled
I
in.
think when you see current zoned, and then the proposed new zones, you could see zone to zone. But just keep in mind that that doesn't mean enrollment to enrollment.
Right.
But then you could kind of see the numbers that are the rezone effects.
Okay. All right. Now we'll go to middle school. The middle school map, which is the next page that you have.
I have, before we go to there, I got a question on Manatee L. Did we change anything there at all to Bashaw? Because there's a,
Did.
right, we dipped down into Samoset. I mean, is that line between Manatee L, Samoset, and Bashaw? Did any of those three?
Ma'am, out of recollection, there were no changes to Manatee L.
Okay.
I'm looking over, and I don't believe we did any changes to the zone at Manatee
Okay.
L or Samoset, to my recollection.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions, elementary? And middle school,
Let me have that
a little less busy,
staple removed.
Yeah, the elementary, you started with the most
of course.
complicated. We got the most complicated out of the way.
We should have done pumpkins instead of apples.
There you go.
Next time.
Next time.
All right.
Hope there's not another next time.
Right, kidding about next
Way
time.
No, next time.
No! That's a Halloween scare right there.
Exactly.
Way out of line.
We'll start with the north part of the county, on your sheet there. Harvey, 6-8, right? Coming online. We're going to 7th grade next year, but, giving them a zone, we made sure that the elementary portion zone for Harvey fits in the 6-8 zone, so you can see that. But no, just giving their 6-8 a zone was the biggest thing. So we followed the elementary zone and then, but used that 62, State Road 62 on the bottom as a divider between Buffalo Creek and Harvey's 6-8 zone. We used that everything north of 62 up to the county line and east to the county line goes to Harvey, 6-8. That was the change there. Going south, Lake Manatee, 6-8, for which it will be K-6 next year. We pretty much took Mona Jane and Lake Manatee. We just split that zone, Lorraine Road, again.
Okay.
Everything east is going to Lake Manatee. We'll go to Lake Manatee. Everything west going to Jane.
Chad, if I may.
Because Mona Jane's went all the way out where you see
That's where
Lake
it used to
Manatee's
go.
brown. It went all
Right.
the way out.
It went
Okay.
all the way out, so we just split it.
Oh, yeah.
Get a-
Yeah, Willie, I'm looking at the elementary map just for reference. And the Lake Manatee, there's just a little cutout, like to the east of of the body of water, Lake Manatee. If you notice on the elementary map, there's a little piece
Oh, by Bethany, yeah.
that goes above 64 that's going to Lake Manatee, but that is not on the middle school map.
Oh, yeah.
it-
Good catch.
Say what now?
Means this area.
This piece right here.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like just over the
It's
finger there
not-
of Lake Manatee,
Yeah, the part
where it
that's,
says Bethany in writing.
Oh,
yeah.
the part that's north of 64. Is it-
Actually, it may
It's,
match out.
it's
If-
same.
if-
It's just awkward.
yeah,
the
it may match
detail,
up,
but
actually. Look, if you look,
yeah,
it does. I think that
awkward.
does match up. Right there to there.
the detail.
I just don't think this is as detailed as
right.
like showing
That's just-
that. But look, you see how this brown comes up over that water?
I'll double check it, but I'm pretty sure.
I
it
see
does.
what
You see what I'm saying? I don't think this middle school one is as close
The
zoomed
detail.
in to
Right.
see, yeah.
You have to pull it back.
But if you
I'll-
look, because on the screens right now, we still have the elementary up. So if you look right there where it says Bethany, where it right says 64 just east
Yeah.
of the Lake Manatee.
I mean, but still, this line, on the middle school map, this line is running along 64.
Yes, yeah. Yes, sir. So we'll double check that, make sure that's the intent that they'll match up,
Okay.
but we'll double
Yeah.
check it. I think it is a little bit with the zooming piece. As you can see 64 pretty, you can see more detail on the middle school
Okay, no
map
problem.
than other, but we'll double check that.
Fair enough.
Intent for it to be the same.
Okay, great.
Yeah. It looks a little distorted on the middle school map to me.
No problem.
That you have, so, but we'll double check that.
Thank you.
That cutout across from Lake Manatee that we talked about development, we brought that down. And, the Polo Run at the solid bottom part of the map for Lake Manatee will go to Nolan, like McNeil, like we did on the elementary side. So that was the change there. Only change there. So let's go, I think the next area we will hit, we did a little bit of some changes into to East Bradenton area. We had an island there once upon a time that was going to Mona Jane and to Hale. We switched it around, so the northern part of the island, I don't know if everyone know where we are?
Yeah.
All right, that northern portion, we determined we'd move that to Hale, because it's closer. They'll go right out on 64, just take that straight down to Hale. North of 64, in that same pocket, that was King. You know, we're gonna have that go to Hale as well. So they'll be connected to the island, that north part of the island that we just talked about. The bottom half of the island that originally went to Jane, we're gonna have go to Braden River Middle, because Braden River already is up in that area right there next to it. So we're just gonna bring that over so that Braden River will gain those students, and it's right across the street from them in some cases. And they'll ride down to Braden River. Mona Jane, we extended 75, what the barrier was, that 75. You can see where it kind of extends over. It's almost like a peach. I think that's over by MTC. That area will just take 44th right up to Mona Jane. It'll be a quick run for them.
Question real quick on the island and
Yes,
where
sir.
Johnson, obviously we see Johnson 6 through 8. Johnson is a full choice magnet school.
Agreed.
Is it at capacity? No.
Think,
Dr. Callaway?
Under capacity at this time.
Okay. So those families could
oh, yeah, they,
choice to
oh,
go
they do,
there.
and they do.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We have a number of students in that area that choice,
Okay.
that go to Johnson. Yes, sir.
Whether, obviously going to Mona Jane or going to Brain River is not where, not obviously where they live, but Johnson's right there. So I just want to make sure that parents know they have that option
Yes.
to do that.
They do. So it just kind of, we feel like this is a good representation, so. And,
Yes. Well, let me go back then, maybe.
okay,
The little pink portion above the apple at Johnson is going to go to Hale.
yes, ma'am.
And the reasoning for that is,
Well,
has it always been like that?
it wasn't. That, a portion, northern portion of that island that we had initially, and you'll see it on the high school map here in a second, was going, that group went to Mona Jane, currently goes to Mona Jane. The southern portion of that island area went to Hill, is how
Okay.
it currently is. Don't ask me why. That's why. I mean, that's how it's currently set up.
And
we
above
think we know why.
And above 64
Went
was going to King.
Right, right.
So it was always
So-
to the west. So Hale's
right.
closer to them.
Yes, sir.
Correct.
So
Okay.
that was the thinking.
And we want to keep Hale's capacity up.
right.
We were concerned when we took 200 students off from the southern portion of this area that Hale would drop enrollment. They are pretty much landlocked here for growth, so that helps keep student enrollment up at Hale.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
All righty. Let's move on to high school. We'll start Parish Community
do
High,
the
as you
call.
know.
I'm checking right now. Yeah.
Very wide zone. Pretty full, student-wise, capacity-wise. So the only change, we made a couple changes to their zone to help them, give them some relief, because all of the growth in their area. So if you look, pretty much the same for them, other than the southern eastern part of their zone. Up Rye Road, if you look at that purple jagged, it almost looks like comes to a little point, like that piece right there was going to Paris Community once upon a time. We're proposing moving that down to Lakewood Ranch. They'll take Rye Road straight down, hit 64. I guess they could do some other things now, White Eagle, different ways to get there
Yeah.
to Lakewood Ranch pretty quickly. That gives Parish Community some relief. That gives Lakewood Ranch some students, for which, with us building a new high school in their zone, Lakewood Ranch is going to lose some students. But this allows us to kind of balance that area out by doing this. East. I'm
And
sorry.
how many is, again, we don't have numbers. I
Asking.
wish we had the numbers,
We'll get those for you.
because I don't know how many students we're pulling from Parish down to Lakewood Ranch.
You know, the goal is that, we like for our high schools to be right around 2,200 students. So, from 18 to 22, right, is probably ideal for high schools. So this will give them, Lakewood Ranch, Parish is bumping up past that, right? This will allow Lakewood Ranch to stay in that same ballpark, 2,000. So I think when I looked at it, I'll get it for you.
And then
give
Parrish
them all about two.
has all this new development as well.
got
They're
Plenty of,
they're
almost 2
rapidly
months.
expanding.
2 months.
Right, right.
So giving them some relief will help for the future. Keep them from having to build a high school in the northern part of the county anytime soon. right?
Well, that's exactly where I was
Yeah,
going. Like,
yeah.
we just closed on the
Property.
Jones
Tato.
property, which, and
Where
this
is
is
it?
the next
North.
rezoning, which I'll be long gone for, but
Yes,
where,
Where is that property?
where exactly is the Jones property?
north of
62.
Buckeye. The northern part of county up
Yeah.
off by near Buckeye.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's close to Buckeye, but
Yeah.
I guess my question is, how far east is it?
Right.
It's also not closed yet. That's the one,
Oh, it's not closed. I'm
that's-
sorry. Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of the racetrack property is
That'll
closed.
be a
yeah. Jones is where we're doubling the size of the,
Exactly.
Where is that though? On this map, where is that?
If you go to the middle school map, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easier to see it.
You look at, it just happens to say scenario mode.
Yeah, up at the top there.
Oh, that's on the.
I think it's
it's
between
on the
there,
elementary map.
Correct.
there
Oh,
and
the
the word
elementary?
willow. I think it's right
Right
in
around
there
301
somewhere.
Oh, I see
area.
it.
I think it's right around like
Yeah, up
that
in there.
301-ish.
yeah, it's up in there. It's up that north.
Where like 301 goes all the way up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's on that quadrant.
That developer is, I was just told, is building, just bought 4,000 acres. Between Manatee and Hillsborough, right in that area is 4,000 acres. He's gonna build a little town, essentially. And so that's gonna be quite a mini city, if you will.
Okay.
Is that going to be east of on the elementary map I'm looking, is that going to be east of that Lake Parish?
I think right where that Willow is, between 301 and Willow, right around there.
Quadrant.
North.
Okay.
But up in Hillsborough, really, is where that development.
So it's going
would
to
be.
kind of cross the county line? you
I mean,
think?
our property's in Manatee,
Right.
but the development is gonna go all the way up to the border and across
Over.
4,000 acres into Hillsborough County, which right now is just fields. So
Right.
it's gonna take many years,
Right.
but quite a development.
Down the road, yes.
So that's
So we-
where our potential property is going to be right there by that Willow?
Yeah, somewhere
It's in
right in that
quadrant.
kind of area, right.
Yeah, it might be a little further.
We
west, but
have-
in that quadrant.
We have 30 acres now, Mr. Dye.
almost 40.
Almost 40, and we're looking at
And going
another
for 80?
We're looking at having a total of 80, I believe, is what we
90.
talked about
90.
Tuesday.
90.
90.
90? Okay.
I have to say, I ran into Mr. Jones at the groundbreaking yesterday. I kind of misspoke. I thanked him for working with the district. I got my properties confused. He played it off very elegantly.
He's still working with the district.
So next,
I'm happy to do it.
we have AAA High School, as you can see, where that is. Lorraine Road will be the split between them and Lakewood Ranch High. They'll pick up all of Lakewood Ranch High's eastern, that's Lakewood Ranch's zone, primarily east. So pretty much splitting that zone. I don't know if it's in half. Looks like AAA will have more land, right? Not more students at this time, but more land. So Lorraine will be the split there for between them and Lakewood Ranch High School. If you go a little west,
Wait, real quick.
uh-huh.
On Parish, on the new map, it looks like it also carves out now some more of what was Palmetto with that cut over. Am I looking at that correctly? The cut over to 75 and down
Picked up a little bit, yes.
a little bit of that too?
Picked up a little bit, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And there was yes, ma'am. And then there was another piece that 64, right there, Fort Hammer, and 75. That is Heritage Harbor area. That was going to Parish Community High.
Yeah.
We're gonna hope to send that back to Break River High, and they went to that school once upon a time.
Okay.
All right, the last.
Once upon.
So that yes, ma'am. So that will go back to Braden River High School.
Right.
That's to balance them up, to kind of get them some students as well. Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Going east. So, and you can't really tell that the island that we had there, but I think everyone remembers it's right up by Wakeland, Matsky area. There was a little box there, group island, and we called it an island just because it wasn't connected, right? That island was going to Lakewood Ranch.
Are we talking about the southeast section now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yeah, the island there. So there was a little island there, a little square that there were about 200 students in that pocket.
It's the same with the middle school. It's going to Hale and Mojang. Right.
Exactly right. It was that same pocket. So that pocket thought would be good to split that pocket in half. The bottom pocket, which is on the southeast side, which is ironic, will go to southeast. And it's Glen Creek kind of splits right up in there. There's like a little, I don't know if it's an actual creek, but that's kind of that divider. So that southern portion will go to southeast, and it did once upon a time go to southeast. The northern portion will send up to the west, which will go to Manatee, and that splits the students in that area a little closer. Both of them pretty close proximity, and then we get a lot of students anyways that choice to those schools and look at the numbers anyway. So thought that would be a good good way to go. So.
Is there a reason why we didn't use 41 as a natural boundary on the west side of Southeast Line?
What is it
Think-
right now? 26.
I don't know what street it
I
is,
think
to be
it's,
honest.
that was just existing.
Yeah.
We didn't
right.
move it,
Right.
from my recollection.
We didn't do anything with that, and you know,
That's 26.
all of those are like a stone throw away. When you get in there, all the schools are pretty close, and
Right.
you know, depending on what side of the street are you, might be a little closer, but it's. We talked about it, but you know, like the soup said, those kids were already going to, you know,
Southeast.
we try not to move if we can.
So it's always been there then?
Yes,
that-
ma'am.
That's
Yes.
been the west, that's been the west side dividing?
That's been
Correct.
the dividing line.
Forever?
So we,
Okay.
Yeah.
we didn't touch it unless we really felt like there was
Right.
a really big need to touch it.
Okay,
I mean, that was our whole concept throughout. Try to not to disrupt
as many
as much as
students
we
as,
could,
right.
but best we could. I mean, we had to do something.
Sure, of course.
But, you know, so if you go back to the 3 maps that we did, we had a very disruptive, kind of medium, and a mild. We kind of took more of the mild approach, to be honest, just because, you know, we know how families are.
The one thing, and I know we've talked about this, and obviously I know we'll get the numbers, but the one thing I want to make sure is, to the best of our ability, right? We can't control development and things like that happening in schools and getting over capacity, but I do want to make sure that, and we've talked about this, I want the public to be aware that I personally don't want to see any school to where there can be no choice, right? Like, I don't have a
Right.
choice to
Agreed.
send my kid to this great band program or whatever because it's at capacity, right? And I think the balancing act of, you guys have done a really, really good job. This is not an easy task. And I think the balancing act of making sure we have enrollment up in schools, but also giving families choices, right? Because, you know, if you start packing schools where we can't take anybody, now there is no choice, right?
Agree.
And so with Southeast and the IB program and things like that, like, we need to have capacity for families because there's a significant amount of families that do come from out in Lakewood Ranch and Braid River, et cetera.
Absolutely.
Southeast.
Yeah, as you know, I choiced my son to Southeast.
Right.
Both my kids went there too.
And
There you go.
even the block that we divided with the 200 students right there, you keep calling the island, but it's actually just part of the community. The students in that area can choice to Southeast if they choose to.
Yes,
do so.
ma'am.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, which is not far from there. So,
And Principal Collins has done a really nice job increasing her choice numbers as well.
yes, she has.
One thing too to keep in mind is when they give us the numbers, anticipated numbers for these maps, we'll also have to wait until after, choice opens in January and to see where the people actually go. Because, we've got, okay, we anticipate this chunk of people is probably going to go to this school and this chunk's probably going to go there because that's where they're zoned. But, with the 2 new options for this rezoning of the legacy and the founders options, with just choice being what it is, I mean, that it'll be interesting to see what we anticipate versus what we end up with after choice closes.
but the maps will be solidified by then.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yes.
I got an update. That Jones property is between I-75 and 301.
Yeah.
So,
Between I-75 and 301.
Okay.
Which is where it says that
up in that
scenario
area,
mode.
right. So,
Okay.
up in that
Oh,
area.
scenario
Ironically.
mode, yeah.
Up in
I
that
got
area.
you. I got you.
And it's
I
not the
was like,
street name,
where
but the
is
development name.
scenario mode? I kept looking for
It's not the new
that.
school's name, scenario mode.
And then a correction
way
on
up
the
here.
dividing line between Lake Manatee and Mayaca is 675, not Vernon Bethany.
Gotcha.
All right, so that's 675.
Chad, if I may.
Yeah.
I just have one thought. I'm just putting this out there as food for thought. I'm not,
Okay.
I like what you all have put together. I appreciate some of the changes that were made. But I'm in the Manatee, the north boundary of Southeast High.
North boundary of Southeast High.
This is just a suggestion for the ease of residents. But what if we just used like 13th Avenue as that boundary? That way, community knows if I live north of 13th Avenue, I'm going to Manatee. If I live south of 13th Avenue, I'm going to the southeast.
What is it now?
It kind of moves around. It looks like
Yeah,
it starts at
kind of goes
13th.
around Tropicana.
On that northwest corner, I think that's 13th Avenue right there. That might be 17th, actually.
And when we looked at it, Mr. Kennedy, we kind of looked at the students and kind of balanced, right? So there were about 200 students in that zone.
Okay.
We kind of took and kind of split them, right? We went half one way and half the other, and that's kind of how we did.
That's how you came
The
up with
barrier
that.
that, yes, the barrier that was closest to that gave us that breakdown.
That line is like
Yeah.
that little
Seven-
part of Braden. If you look at like an actual map, like
Yeah,
on
the
Google, there's like a
the
body of
squiggly on the
water. There's
right.
like a creek.
And we tried to
Glen
make sure
Creek.
that we didn't split any neighborhoods.
Right.
We
Yeah.
kept the
Right.
So the
roads
Glen
together,
Creek,
and so
Yeah.
That little
kind of
jagged
why
edge
it's
is
jagged.
Glen Creek, like is the
That's-
body of water.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
That's coming off the Braden River.
And Tropicana.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to find.
Tropicana.
13th,
Yeah, 13th
Tropicana,
cuts
and then we
through
follow
Tropicana.
that
It's
river.
kinda
Yeah,
jagged.
and then we
Yeah.
follow that little stream.
That little Glen Creek goes from south of River Run, right there at
Almost-
Mixon Fruit Farm,
yeah.
all the way up.
Almost to Matsky
Oh, yeah.
to
Yeah. Yeah. And then once again, trying to not be too disruptive, right? So you will move one pocket someplace, then we got to turn and move another to balance another school. So it's like a domino effect.
No, that's okay.
So, but we
like I said,
did
it was
consider
food for
that.
thought.
We did look at it. Yes, sir.
That does
Yes,
make
sir.
sense. If you just took
Try
the
to
group,
kind
cut
of
it
be
in half, I get
equal, right? Balanced. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Chapman.
Is that what
I think
it
so.
is, Glen Creek? I'm trying to find
Yeah,
it.
it's
the
a
creek-
body.
it's
It's
like-
like a body of water.
It runs out of Tropicana.
I'm
over
trying to
toward
find that.
the Braden River.
Where is
Yeah.
that?
God knows what's in
Well,
the
that community right there, I think the community right there in the corner
right there.
is called Glen Creek or something like that, if I remember. So,
That's not what
Yeah.
Mr. Chapman.
Okay. So like Mr. Clark said, on Monday, by Monday afternoon, we'll be communicating to the community, parents, in an email, like we did back earlier this year to say that these maps and the website, the locator, Let's Talk, all of that, all the ways to, gather and gain information about all this will go live Monday afternoon. So we'll be communicating that out to parents. The website will be live with all of these maps, with the Let's Talk function, with the locator where you can put in and find your, you can put in your home address and find out what your zones will be in 26, 27. All that will be live Monday afternoon when we communicate that to parents. And then like Mr. Clark says, and that will also be on the website, is our 3 town halls the following week at Braden River High School, Lakewood Ranch High School, and Parish High School. So many ways to engage during this process with Let's Talk, with the town halls. And so we encourage families to do that. And we read and go through every Let's Talk contact. That's how we kind of formulated these maps over the last couple of months. And so we will do that through this process all the way to that December meeting when you all will approve these maps. So, and again, for the public, just so they understand, on November 18th, the school board will meet and will then decide what the next calendar of board meetings will be. And so once that happens on November 18th, we will then know what meeting in December exactly these maps will be approved on. And so that will make that official, and these slides are just showing what the website will look like. So we'll communicate throughout the month of November and make sure that, like this whole process has been, very transparent. We'll, as we go around the community too, as we attend, chamber meetings and other meetings around, and SAC meetings around the county, it's the first topic we always mention is rezoning. Check the website, make sure you know the process, know what's going on, and ask questions if need be. So,
Great.
I have one more food for thought item, and I'll take you back to the middle school map for this one. And you all heard me talk about the bus transportation times for kids in Pride Park, like basically the Daughtry, Oniko Daughtry neighborhood. So those kids now, as you can see on the map, I think our current map is similar to the redistrict or the rezone that we're looking at. They're spending time on the bus going from Central Bradenton over to Sug and over to King, in some cases Lee, obviously. And I have been to Sug a handful of times. I've actually asked my former students from Daughtry who are at Sug, and I've asked them, like, how is it on the bus? Like, what's your bus ride like? And every single one of them have said, it's not bad. It didn't really register for them. But I always come back to, be great if those kids could walk to middle school. And so now with the Schools of Hope angle coming at us, I'm wondering, and I don't know what our available space is there, and we probably can't get this up and running by next August. But I just want to bring forward the possibility of us doing a small middle school presence with the space we have at Harley. We could do something like, Soren 4 is right there. Maybe we do like an early education, kind of like we're doing healthcare at Lincoln. We could do early education at a kind of revamped Harley middle campus. I know there's a lot going on that campus, and it would take some work to retro back to even a small scale middle school. But I think it would have a benefit of middle school age kids in that neighborhood. I think it would benefit the district because we don't have a campus that the Mater Academies of the world think is just sitting there vacant. So again, I'm just kind of putting this out there as something we can think about.
Yeah, we
ways
would
to get
have to
creative.
have some time to do an analysis on that. We have our pre-K evaluation center that takes up part of the building. We do lease space to AMI.
Right.
And so we do run a school from the Harley Center. And we also run Access and Sable.
Right.
Which are two growing programs that come into that school. So we don't have an empty wing right now on that campus. So reopening a middle, we would need to then say, who are we going to move off the campus?
Where do they go?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I want to bring it up. I know there's
Yeah.
a million moving parts that would have to be coordinated.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But we could take a look at that, but we are building Sable and Access at the same time because we have a need for students to have some very intensive services.
Sure.
And that's what Sable and Access provide.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. No, I just want to put it out there. I don't expect any action just because I'm saying anything. I would want it to
But
come
good
from the
point.
board.
I
not
mean,
from me.
I think about the students too. It would be nice if they could walk to their campus. I just don't want to displace the other programs that are growing as well.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to put it out there. Thank you, Dr. President.
Mr. Tatum?
I just wanted to say that I didn't say a lot during this, but I had my private meeting with Mr. Clark and went over the maps. And as you said, Mr. Kennedy, there are a million moving parts here, and I had one or two concerns, and they were addressed. And so I'm going to have to some degree, trust the judgment of all the people in the room who took all those million moving parts and put them together and came up with this. So thank you for your work. And, you know, if we get some big concerns from the community, I will certainly take a look at them. But the concerns I had were addressed, and I'm satisfied with what has been placed before us. So thank you.
Same here.
What's that? We've only got, we're done. I mean, we only got one more thing. Yeah, and it shouldn't take, I mean, we want a 5-minute break? Good? Yeah, 5 minutes. We'll go to recess, be back at 10:30.
Honorable attendance.
All right, welcome back. Second item for today's workshop is discussion regarding the naming of the new school and Artisan Lake. So I'm going to give it over to Mr. Chapman, kind of start us off, and then he'll kick it back to the board for some comments.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Board Chair. You all, a few months ago, named our other new elementary school that's opening in August, Rye Ranch Elementary. What is before you now is a discussion, to begin the discussion of our other new elementary school, which we've been calling Artisan Lakes Elementary, elementary at Artisan Lakes. We've been naming it just to kind of, because that's in the area of where it's being built, and it will open up in August. So what is before you is you all need to name that school so we can begin to brand that school and create signage and create the excitement that's going to happen out there for a new school. So if you look on your screens right now, I'm going to
Give me a
just walk you through for a minute
address.
of what is being planned on the same piece of property as this new school. So there's about 40 acres, about 45 acres that's going to be developed. We're developing half of it, and the county is developing the other half. And so what the county has planned is this Veterans Memorial Park. They have yet to name this park. They've been calling it a memorial park, and I just wanted to show you this press release a little bit so you can kind of understand what they're doing. It says the Manatee County Board of County Commissioners has approved funding to establish a memorial park to salute veterans on a 24-acre piece of county-owned property on Buckeye Road. Plans call for permanent memorials paying respect to participants in every American-involved armed conflict, from the American Revolution through the Iraq War. Each branch of the armed services will be honored, as well as hometown heroes, women veterans, and the Manatee County Veteran of the Year. And then it says it will be built next to the school. What they also want to do besides this Veterans Park is inside this park have a center where it will help veterans with resources, meeting space, so on, so place. So it's a 24-acre park center memorial to veterans of all armed conflicts. So when I pull up this map, you can kind of see. So we're looking.
Yeah.
If you look at it, there's their planned for now facility. You can see quite a lot of structures and things in their square. As we look at it to the right, is exactly where our new school is being built. So it is completely adjacent to this. Again, the county has to name this park, but what they're calling Veterans Memorial Park. So I wanted to show you all that so that you can understand what's happening on this about 45-acre parcel here, which is about, if you remember from our elementary map we just looked at, it's kind of north of that 275-75 interchange on your way up to the Hillsborough border, kind of halfway between the 275 I-75 interchange, which is where Artisan Lakes HOA community is, and on the, as you're looking at, left side of the I-75, and then all the way up to Hillsborough. So kind of gives you an idea of where it is and what's being proposed on the same site. And I will end there to have you all discuss perhaps maybe some ideas of what this school should be named, considering all the information I just gave you. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I know this is a discussion. We're not, naming anything. It's nothing official. I'm under, just as this whole park has been going, and it's right next to that veteran memorial. I would love for it to be connected some way to that memorial park. Whether it's called Veteran Memorial Elementary, whatever. I don't know what they're going to call it. I don't think we need to be as specific as if they call it North Manatee County Veteran Park. Like if they call it something like that, we don't think we need to be verbatim what they're doing. But I would definitely see a connection there And are we with the two lots, and maybe you said this, are we connecting? Is there going to be a way that our school can be connected to that? Obviously, security maybe not because of the gates, but is there something that we could potentially have?
Thank you, Mr. Board Chair. The simple answer is yes, and the county's very excited, as we are too, of this parcel, this big parcel, and the idea of this. So I think as we staff and as you board continue to talk to county staff and county board of county commissioners, I think those ideas can keep expanding. But the idea is, yes, is to have some coordination between what's happening there and also the school.
Yes, sir.
I can add to that, working on the acquisition part, so the two parcels are literally adjacent each other. They have a common boundary. There is some discussion, the county parcel doesn't have great access. The school board parcel has a panhandle that kind of comes off of it that's not all that usable for the school, so there's some discussions about swapping some access points with the county. So there's some cooperation going on with trying to work all that out. But the school has to be fenced and
Right.
all the security stuff, so, but it's literally adjacent to the park.
This could be, if I may, when we do get the joint meeting rescheduled, maybe by the time it's rescheduled, both bodies could come together and initiate I'm sure the county has their process for naming things as well. We have a 6-month process. It's not
No.
6 months anymore?
No.
No.
That would be to, rename or to name a facility on a property. But
But a
for
new
a brand-new
school.
Oh,
school,
for existing, it's
It's
not
way
6.
it's
different.
totally
For
up to
new.
you five. Yep.
Okay, great.
It's totally up to the board. The board
And that's
can
why,
do it, yeah.
and that's why the superintendent recommended that you all had a discussion today, so that the public is starting to understand that
Yeah.
this process is starting and that there is a communication
Gotcha.
happening.
Dr.
I-
Breslin, do you have thoughts on?
Right, so if we have the conversation today and you arrive at any common area, you all agree that you want to tie it into something aligned with the Veterans Memorial, at least we have the direction. We know then collectively where the board wants to go and options can be decided. I would have a preference, if it's possible with the board, to have a name in January so that when we announce school choice, we're not calling it the elementary school located at Artisan Lakes. You know, that we could actually have the principal named, which we will by January, and then that principal could announce their name of their school. So that would be preference. Now, in order to do that, we would need really, November's limited with meeting time. So we certainly could add an item in November to do a posting of a consideration of a name, and then in December solidify with a vote. That's aggressive, but we could do that, and then have it set for January.
Well, just gonna go ahead and kick this off. I love the idea of Veterans Memorial Elementary School. I'm the daughter of a veteran and the granddaughter of 2 veterans. So this really sounds great to me. I love the connection with possibility of connecting it to the park. It would be a great place for if the elementary school wanted to do a Veterans Day thing and invite the community. I think it would be just lovely.
Agreed.
And that's what I was going to say, that because I've looked at this map in many ways, and the little panhandle that Mr. Dye's talking about, the access that they'll need through ours. But I'm looking at the Google thing, and there's little waterways. It looks like waterways. Curiosity Creek. Okay, I don't know where our property and the county's property meets, but I don't know what kind of issue that would be to get students over to do. I would like to have the gate to where kids could go over on a veterans parade type thing. Now, I could just see the elementary kids going over to Veterans Park and doing that. So I don't know if it needs to be identical to the county though. I wouldn't, I don't lean towards Veterans Memorial Elementary. I lean more to Veterans Elementary. Totally. Because if you're gonna have Veterans Memorial Park, I would just rather have ours just Veterans Elementary.
If I may, one of our cabinet members had a suggestion, you know, an alignment with the idea of Veterans Memorial, but naming it Valor Elementary School. And so just an idea that we could still connect something without having the exact wording of Veterans Memorial, just to keep, you know, it thinking of the best name for an elementary child who would be attending.
I think I like the veterans better, but
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think connecting it to veterans, where it's Veteran Memorial. I like Valor. I mean, Valor could be the nickname. They're the mascot, like the Veteran Valor, right? But I mean, I don't. I do like the veterans, connecting it some way somehow
Okay.
to Veterans Park.
As a veteran, I suppose I feel like I should recuse myself from the discussion. I'm good with Valor. Anything that connects it to the Veterans Memorial Park, but
Okay.
yeah, Veterans Memorial.
Veterans Elementary is the
Yeah,
best for
Veterans
me. That's
Element.
just
It's
my
easy too.
opinion.
It's less letters. It's less expensive, right? You know,
Well,
Yeah, less of a mouthful.
Lincoln Memorial, isn't it Lincoln Memorial? Or I always call it Lincoln Middle.
When we renamed it after the LMA Memorial Academy thing, and it used to be Lincoln Memorial High School, so we actually took it back to its original name,
Yeah, I think Memorial.
because it was before LMA. I think it was Lincoln Middle School, and then went to LMA for 1 year, and then after that went back to Lincoln Memorial Middle School,
Right.
like officially.
Right. Lincoln Memorial Middle School.
it's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful.
Veterans
I mean,
Elementary.
Veterans
Everybody just uses
Elementary.
Lincoln, but
Yeah,
Veterans Elementary.
yeah,
Like Freedom Elementary, Veterans Elementary. It's easy.
right.
Gets the
Kind
point
of
across.
stays within that kind of,
I would be 100% okay with the expedited timeline
Okay.
of naming it December 10th
yeah.
officially, so that way
how
come
certain
January.
are we that that's what the county's gonna do is Veterans Memorial
I mean,
Park?
yeah, but if we can be veterans, if it's Veterans Elementary, we know that's what that park is gonna. Whether they call it whatever they call it, they know it's a veterans park.
Okay,
You know what I mean? I mean, it is Veterans Park. Whether they call it North County Veteran Park, whatever, who knows? I don't even know if they've thrown any names other than Veteran Park. That's all they've been saying, is Veterans Park. So I have no clue what it. I mean, it could be called Manatee County. There is no other Veterans Park in Manatee County. I don't think.
right.
Is there?
I don't know, what's that little
Yeah.
area right by
The bridge, yeah.
the bridge?
Oh yeah. But
That-
that's the
By the
city. I
skate
think.
park,
But
you mean?
the,
I think
yeah,
the
right
city
next to the
did-
skate
By
park
the
across-
skate
Yeah, I
park.
think the city did that though.
Yeah,
But either way, I mean, I'm all for doing it on the 10th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Notify, putting it out there 30 days, November 10th, and then voting
We
on it
can
December
create
10th.
a board
I
item.
can't believe there's gonna.
We'll
I
have
would be highly imagined there's not
I'm
gonna be
good.
that
further
many
discussion,
people
and we can get it
against
out
calling it veteran.
for the public to see. And
Because
Okay.
I know the county's been talking about that park for several years, actually.
It has been.
2-3 years now. So, I'm good with that. Let's
Okay.
just do it.
well, I appreciate the feedback. That's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, gives us time to brainstorm too,
Yeah.
between now and then.
All right. So that's it for our workshop. Obviously, to the public, those maps will be up come Monday on the website. Look forward to hearing the public comments and things like that. And obviously, the legacy will be up as well. We've already gotten a couple emails, so thinking us about the legacy. So,
Good. That's good.
yeah.
Better than the opposite.
Yes, it is. It is. All right. Hope everybody has a good rest of your Friday and a good weekend, and we'll see you. Happy Halloween. Yeah.
Safe Halloween.
Yeah. Have a safe Halloween, everybody.
Right.
Although all the kiddos. November
November 10th.
10th.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. We are adjourned.
Thank you.